Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV with Chris and Chumps. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. All you need for everything Leicester City FC. It's Leicester Till I Die TV.
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on, and ready to go.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Enough! I've had enough! Burnley losing 1-0 at home! I'm sick of it! Arteta, I've defended you, but you've got to go! There's the door! Tala! Honestly, Xhaka! Go! Leave! Look what you're doing to me! I'm sick of it! We're losing 1-0, we're passing it round the back! Aubameyang, we sacked 50 staff to pay for your new contract, and what do? Nothing! But the blame just ain't on you. Arteta, you have got to go. I've backed you till the cows come home, but now it's enough. 5 points off the relegation zone. Losing to Burnley. Burnley. Take it in. I'm sick of it. I've had enough. I have had enough. I've had it up to here. It's got to go. Xhaka, you've got to go. I'm absolutely sick of this club. I'm done. Finished.
Good evening, fellow Fox fans. Well, do you remember that? Not a happy Arsenal fan. He needs to calm down a little bit, doesn't he? And in his honour, I'm wearing all claret just to remind him of Burnley, or purple, in whatever you want to call it. But let's hope he's calmed down a bit for tomorrow. We got the chance to do the double. Good evening. It is Leicester Till I Die TV. You are watching the preview show, and you can get us live on Facebook, Leicester Till I Die, the group, Periscope and Twitter at Leicester TID, and you can also get us live on YouTube at Leicester Till I Die TV. And if you are watching on YouTube, or even if you're not, get onto the channel now and please give us a subscribe. We would be ever so slightly grateful. If not, I might have to have a little rant like he did. Not really. And afterwards, if you want to catch us up and listen to us rather than look at the beautiful side that is me and Craig, you can catch us on podcasts, Apple iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Google, and all good podcast platforms. It is a case of Liverpool. It is a case of Arsenal on Sunday. I know we've got Prague tomorrow night. We did the preview for that last night. Can't get rid of me. We've got Arsenal coming up. Let us know your thoughts on that game. We could do the double, the first double of the season. It is third versus fifth, seventh, ninth. Oh, yeah, there they are. Arsenal down there in 10th place. One of the big six, eh? Whoever said that. Let's welcome him in, talking about the big six. Oh, yeah. He'll kill me for that. He's my chat chum, Craig. He does the preview show with me. Good evening, Craig.
Good evening, Chris. Good evening, everybody. I've got a big six-pack, bigger than it should be. I think it's more like a barrel.
I have to position the camera just so it doesn't quite show my moobs off.
Yeah, I think we're all grateful for that, Chris.
Well, I do look after you guys. I do look after you. Yeah, Arsenal at the weekend. That chappie wasn't very happy in the midweek. I'm guessing he hasn't really calmed down since. I fancy us for this.
Yeah, I think there's every reason to. I mean, we've got to be, in our position, you've got to be looking to beat the sort of mid-table clubs, and that's where Arsenal find themselves. The fact that I was saying this just a couple of days ago, that the fact that we're 15 points clear of Arsenal at this stage of the season is, ridiculous almost. I don't know whether it shows how much they've fallen or how well we've progressed, but we've definitely progressed and they've definitely fallen. But I think the signs that Arteta's getting it back, they're starting to pick up. I think he's decided which way he's going now. He's promoting the youth, so it might be a tougher game, but still one I think we should prevail in.
And do you think, I know it's hard to say, and they're not even our team, but it's how much patience they've got as a board of directors with Arteta. He was the one they wanted. They brought him in with no experience, in fairness. When I'm thinking of Chelsea and Lampard, at least he'd had some top job experience. And Arsenal, they're not really a sacking club as such, are they?
No, they're not really, are they? Wenger went on his own terms in the end. And, I think they got Arteta because they couldn't get Pep Guardiola. They never would be able to get Pep. But they basically went for Pep Light and thought that, Arteta was going to bring all of that philosophy with him. And he may well do, but, he's got to be his own man as well and have his own ideas. But I think it just shows you that, there's no time in the Premier League now. You've got to be in the top six. For a club like Arsenal, they would believe they've got to be in the top four because players want to play in the Champions League. So if you're going to not only attract but also keep the top players, same way as we've got to now, then you've got to be playing in the Champions League. So it must be a worry for the fans. It must be a worry for the board, and I think that he'll need to show some kind of improvement and at least be getting on the coattails of the top six to try and secure some European football. Otherwise, he could be in trouble in the summer.
Well, we all know. West Brom hardly come up before they swapped the manager. Sheffield United, fair dues, they are sticking by Chris Wilder, as Fulham appear to be doing with Scott Parker. We know from our own history, you win the Premier League, 18 less than a year later, you're out the door. We've got to sort of appreciate, I think, where we are at the moment, and I don't think we're punching above our weights. You're saying, if it was a decent Arsenal team of years ago, same with Spurs, same with Chelsea, but the fact of the matter is, they are not. We are where we are on merit. And, it's for us or any team to break into the top six, one of the top six has to drop out for whatever reason that is.
It was interesting. There was a piece published on the Athletic today. I've not read it all because I'm a cheapskate and I refuse to pay. But the essence of the article was... All right. The essence of the article was: is the Big Six now a Big Ten? And it was interesting to see the comments on the back of that. People were saying that it's not about where you are. You've got a top six at the minute. That's not necessarily the Big Six. So it's more about the power and the history. But a lot of the comments were saying, because they talked about with the traditional six, now are West Ham, Everton and Leicester here for the long term. And most of the people, if they mentioned any club, apart from laughing at Arsenal, as a lot of people would like to do on Twitter, they were saying that only Leicester deserve to be mentioned in that rank at the moment. So clearly we're doing something right that's being noticed by opposition fans as well. I think the fact that we were so close last year and we've backed it up this year, makes people sit up and take a little bit of notice that we are going in the right direction. So it's nice to be thought of that. Top six, still wouldn't necessarily call us a big six, but I don't like that term anyway, to be honest. You know, clubs, and it's cyclical. There are 4 big clubs possibly with the money. You know, the 2 Manchesters, Chelsea and Liverpool, and even Liverpool, I'm not sure how much money they've got to spend. But I think Raniola, I think his name was, the agent of Haaland, was talking about who could afford him, and he was saying there's only 4 clubs in the 10 clubs in the world, 4 of which are in the Premier League. So he must be talking about those 4. I don't think he was talking about Leicester. So there's still a gap.
Yeah, and there is a big difference between big and top, like you say. I mean, I had a bit of I was drawn into a bit of a Twitter spat myself with Everton fans about whether we are a bigger club than Everton. To be quite honest with you, after a couple of comments, I got bored and didn't carry it on. But you know, it's not about being big; it's about the top. I, in fairness, would argue whether Man City are a big club because of their history. They've not got the history that Man United, Liverpool have got. But you know, it's all you know. Like I say, big difference between top and six. We're going to say good evening there to Rob. We're running out of players. I think bit by bit, I think we are. Although we've been there before this season. Good evening to Stephen Collins. Arsenal owner is preoccupied with the American football team, the Rams, as they just moved into a new £1 billion stadium. Moving on, let's move on to Leicester. I think that's a good idea. We have got this game coming up, Craig, 12 o'clock on Sunday, right in the middle of the day, but it does mean I can watch Antiques Roadshow later on. And if you did want to watch it, it's on BT Sport, Talk Sport Radio, lcfc.com, free of charge, and only if you are in the Leicester area, as somebody pointed out to me, BBC Radio Leicester. We did a job on them in the first match, didn't we? We did a 1-0 win.
Yeah, it wasn't particularly pretty, was it? From what I remember, I think we dug in and we clearly had a game plan. And then the longer the game went on, we were just hitting them on the break. You know, I think we made some good substitutions and just played on the fact that they were a bit of an aging team. I think he was still sorting out his team at that point. I think he got a few who were feeling a bit leggy, and he used his squad magnificently, and we came out with a great win from Vardy's goal, who loves scoring against Arsenal, obviously, and long may that continue.
And an assist there from Under.
Sorry, Chris.
Oh, sorry, did you miss that? We're both waiting for each other there. These Alzheimer's, we're going to have to sort of watch it. We're going to have to have a script here. An assist from Under.
Yeah, it was a good assist, I remember rightly. And a great ball, I think, from Tielemans, who picked out his run. Yeah. I think it was a run very similar to a run that Salah made for Liverpool against Ricardo the other week, where he sort of just strolls back as if he's looking to just stay on side. Then as soon as the right person gets on the ball, he spins and goes in behind. And I think Under did exactly the same against Arsenal. And Tielemans picked him out. Lovely first time ball across from Under onto Jamie's head.
I mean, looking, and I know we did this in the first round of games, you know, we haven't got a strong history against Arsenal in the Premier League. Played them 29 times, won 5 of those and drawn 6. But recent history shows we are being a bit of a bogey team. We've only lost 1 in the last 5 games. And that was the League Cup when, let's be honest with you, the start of this, I don't think we were too bothered about that, were we?
No, not at all. I mean, recently we've started to pick up against them. I went to the first time I went to the Emirates I think it was the season after we won the league, and we were first game up on Sky that night. I think we lost 4-3 to a last minute Giroud goal. But even then, we put
God,
up
I
a
remember that.
really, yeah. You know, it was the only time I've heard any noise in the Emirates Stadium, apart from the fake noise that's on at the minute. But you know, then we showed the mentality that we were a much better team than we used to be, and that we can hold our own against these so-called bigger clubs. And I think we've just gone from strength to strength, and we're losing that sort of inferiority complex against most of these teams now. You know, maybe it's still there against Man City, and it was still there a little bit against Liverpool. Yes, we came out with a really good win, but we sat back a little bit too much for me. But against the likes of Arsenal and Spurs, I think we go into it with a head held high now, and the fact that they should worry more about us than we do about them.
Indeed, and I'll just go back. I remember I was down the pub with my son, I should say, sorry, and it was a room full of German Arsenal fans. Would you believe that had come over? Yeah, on a trip, and you know, it was a lot of banter going on. Should we just put it that way? It was a bit of a ding dong. I think that was the first ever Friday night Premier League game, wasn't it?
It was the they decided to start the season on a Friday night with that live game, and I think we were on the following year against Manchester United on the first game of the season on a Friday night as well. But no, it was really good.
Well.
Yeah, I know. But it was a really good performance from us. You know, there was a couple of dodgy refereeing decisions, so nothing really changes.
No, indeed not. It's just now we have a moan about VAR rather than about the refs. Something I said post game at the weekend was, would the real Leicester stand up? Because the performance that we had was sublime. You know, I mean, I know they didn't have a Grealish, etc., but the performance that came out in that game was one that we seemed to be missing in the Wolves game, in the Brighton Cup game, for 75 minutes against Liverpool, and definitely against Slavia Prague, although, you know, some people blame the pitch and what have you. As a fan, it gets so frustrating when we know we can put that sort of performance in, and yet the same, as good as the same team the following week, we don't. I think if we put the performance on we did against Villa, we could beat anybody.
Yeah, I think even in that game, possibly, you know, we like that in games. That first 20, 25 minutes, we were virtually unstoppable against Villa. You know, we created numerous chances. We could have been 4 up, you know, reminiscent of the old 4-0 in 15 minutes against Derby all those years ago. We came out the blocks, and you know, I noticed. I think it was 5 minutes in. Now, 5 minutes in the total of a game doesn't sound a long time, but when you're watching it from the kickoff, 5 minutes, they didn't get in our half. We totally penned them in. It was a great start, but again, we can't maintain it, you know, and that's the problem. We allowed Villa to dictate the pace a little bit second half. Having said that, it was a bit like you know, a boxer just having his glove in the opponent's face, keeping them at arm's length. So they had a lot of ball, had a lot of huff and puff, but again, I don't think Schmeichel had too much to do, and that seems to be a recurring theme at the minute, that we do let the opposition have the ball and try and play on the break, but we are pretty defensively strong and keep them away from Schmeichel's goal. But it would be great to see those 20-minute bursts extended to a full half, or even in both halves of a game, because when we are playing like that, nobody could live with us.
No. We managed at least not to concede right at the death against Villa, which was something. They have a history of getting these 92nd, 93rd minute goals against us, and I was out the room. I think I'd gone to the toilet. And it was like 5 minutes extra time, you know, injury time, and it was a case though. For once, we held our concentration.
We did, and you know what we're like. You know, we're not the best at defending set pieces and corners, and as long as the ball's down there, every time you see it go out for a corner, you sort of fear the worst. And I mean, we gave that free kick away right at the death. You know, they're frustrating as a fan, aren't they? The silly free kicks that we give away at the death. But I think Watkins was probably about the only time he got his head to a ball, and it was well wide. So, in general terms, we defended it pretty well. And I've got to say, I think Soyuncu coming back in has made a big difference there. I think he has a much bigger presence in the box than Fofana. And that's, that's only to be understandable because Fofana's new and he probably allows himself to get roughed up a little bit too much so he doesn't attack the ball. But he'll learn when he comes back. But Soyuncu is a bit of a wily old fox and he gets his retaliation in first.
Yeah, indeed. I was actually reading something on, I think it was from the Athletic again, and it was when Ryan Giggs was just starting to play and he was getting kicked about on the left wing. And he went over to Brian Robson, who was the captain, and said, "Oh God, he's calling me all these names. He's threatening me. He's getting booted." And Brian Robson went, "Play in the middle for 10 minutes." And Robson went out on the wing. He came back after 10 minutes. He went, "You'll be all right now." Oh, you can get away with that these days. But that free kick that you mentioned at the end, I mean, my heart was in my mouth because I can remember the Arsenal game in the Championship winning year, and it was 1-1, and Welbeck hadn't scored for God knows how long. Yeah, free kick right at the death from the tank, and it was Wasilewski. And needless free kick, as most of his were. And of course, they went and scored. So that was going through my mind. Soyuncu, yes, I agree. He has got a presence about him. I still have to have a spare pair of underpants when he's playing because he does like to try and go round a player. Should we put it like that nicely?
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't love a Cruyff turn in your own box? I mean, let's face it.
99.9% of the home fans, probably.
But he's let's just say he plays with confidence.
I think that's the polite way of putting it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that's just the side. But we have, I can remember we were sort of saying how good our defence has become over under Rodgers, but I always feel we have got a goal in us, as in letting a goal in. It's if we keep a clean sheet. I don't often go into a game expecting us to keep a clean sheet. Is that fair?
I mean, thinking about yours. Well, no, I think thinking about your score predictions, I don't think you've ever gone for us to get 0 against us. You probably got the score right this week, didn't you, Chris? But let's if that's the case, let's move quickly on. No, I think we've always we're always liable to let one in, and I think mainly that comes from the fact that we are susceptible to free kicks and corners and balls into the box. In open play, we're pretty well organised, and I've got to say, for all that fantastic start we had against Villa, we could have easily gone a goal behind, but for a fantastic block by young Luke Thomas early in that game, and I thought he had a great game. To be fair, Luke Thomas, I think he's almost like his coming of age game in that one. It was a brave shout, I think, by Brendan to put him in and double up on the right hand side with the two right backs, but it showed that he had confidence in him, and I think he grew. I thought he had a great game.
I've just checked. I actually went for Villa. I went for 2-0 to Leicester.
Oh, did you? Of course, because I agreed with you, didn't I? Yeah.
You did.
How stupid.
Well, more fool you. That's all I can say. But yeah, it's not often I go for a nil, but I did with that one. And you see what happens when I do that. I mean, going in and looking at the performance as we go into this game, Arsenal, they got the win against Leeds. That's not impossible this season. But losing to Man City again. I mean, again, that's no disgrace. But losing to Wolves, losing to Aston Villa, just drawing with Man United. Those are games that they should be winning. We are going in with the better form.
Yeah, I mean, I think you say that based on Arsenal being a big club again. If you put that on their form this season, you wouldn't necessarily say that they should be beating those teams because their form doesn't dictate or show that they have any right to do so. So they are a little bit up and down. Goals have been, they got 4 against Leeds, which was great. But apart from that, they've not been sort of free flowing. I think they're definitely a team in transition. He's got this blend now of a few experienced players, but he's given youth its head with Saka and Emil Smith-Rowe, who I think is a great player. I like the way that he sort of carries the ball. But he's still not sure. I mean, Lacazette spends as much time on the bench as he does on the floor. So you do wonder where the goals are coming from against Arsenal. For Arsenal, sorry. Hopefully I won't come to eat my words, but I think we've got more than enough to nullify the threats that they have, to be honest. And I'm pretty confident about this one.
And look again, like you say, the table doesn't lie. And like I said at the start of the show, if you're looking for Tottenham and the guy's got his binoculars out there trying to find them, there they are. and I've done this specifically for the Opposition View show on Friday, and when we were joined by an Arsenal fan. They are down there in 10th, and 25 games played. We're in the home stretch now, and
Yes.
they are 15 points behind us. Is that 15? Yeah, 15
Yes,
points
15.
behind us. Yeah, Chelsea have come back, and I think that's. Don't know whether that's going to last. I mean, obviously, any new manager comes in, you do get a little bit of a boost. But there is a bit. I mean, to 6th place and Liverpool, and I don't want to sort of tempt fate after what happened last season, but 9 points clear of the place that doesn't qualify for Europe.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're almost looking at a top 7 chasing 6 places at the minute. But it's going to be such a disappointment if we end up down in the Europa League again. What I would be interested in, and maybe I know we have a few people who watch this and know their stuff. Let's, for instance, if Manchester United won the Europa League, would that Champions League space go down to 5th? So there may be almost a safety net there as well. I wouldn't want us to be looking at that, but there is that possibility as well. I believe. I could be totally wrong. It has been known, but
Surely not.
As I said, I think last week, I think top 4 is the aim against everything else, because it would be looked on as a failure. At the start of the season, 5th place would have still been a very good performance again. The fact that we've been in the top 4 the whole season, the fact that we lost it last season at the death, Brendan has got to be thinking that top 4 is what he's aiming for now. And we have got that little bit of a buffer, as it were. Yeah, Chelsea are the worry at the minute. They're coming back. They're on a good run at the moment. They're not leaking goals, and we know they've got goals in them. So you could say again it's 5 going for 4 spots, but it'd be interesting to know about the Europa League, whether that would nudge the Champions League places down to 5th.
It would. And do you think we have learnt from last year? I mean, we're talking. We've got an experienced manager here. Maybe we didn't give him enough credit for what he achieved at Celtic. Looking at what has happened to sort of Neil Lennon, but yeah, surely we have learnt. I would have thought.
I think so. I think what you're seeing now, and whether we like it or not, I know, a lot of fans are probably like me when he sees some of the substitutions. I think what he is now is more pragmatic, and he's actually seeing games out. In the end, I think against Villa, we probably had every defensive midfielder in the club actually on the pitch at the same time, because he got to a point where Maddison had gone off. Thanks, Stephen, for confirming that. We know the Europa winner goes into it. It's whether that nudges it down to the 5th team would go into the Champions League if, for instance, us or Manchester United won it and finished top four. But just going back to whether we've learnt anything, I think we have. I think he knows now that, we can see games out. And I think if we can nudge ourselves in front, I think that's what he's looking for. As I say, last 15 minutes we had Mendy, we had Ndidi, we had Hamza on the pitch, just protecting what we've got. So I think he knows how important every 3 points are now, and I think he's come out and said it that we've learnt from it, and I think it shows that we've learnt from it. And I think that the players have got that in their head. They don't want to be part of throwing it away again as well. And Tielemans has come out and said a couple of things this week as well. So I think we've learnt from it. It would have left a nasty taste last season, and I'm sure that they don't want to taste that again.
They don't want to be, forever branded as the team that bottled it twice, which,
exactly.
To be honest with you, they would do. Exactly. Matt Jason, good evening. I'm very well. I think Craig is very well.
I am. Thank you, Matt. I'll give you too.
Yeah. It's like Stephen said there, the Europa winner goes into the Champions League. See how that affects, like you say, further down. Do we get the extra space given to us? I mean, you got to look at the teams that are in the Europa League, Arsenal and Tottenham. If we bring that table back up again, Tottenham are down there in 9th, Arsenal are 10th. Yeah. They may well be targeting the Europa League, but that's dangerous, play to do that. And on their form, there's no guarantee that they're going to. Yes, they both had very good results midweek, but they're not in. I don't think they're in the favourites to win it.
No, not at all. But I think I don't think either of those clubs, whether they'd come out and actually say it, is another thing. But I don't think Jose or Arteta are thinking that they can get into the top four realistically. So they would be targeting the Europa League. Obviously, if we get through this round as well, you're going to have Arsenal, Spurs, us and Manchester United all in the Europa League into the last 16, and we can all get drawn against each other, so that might change things as well. There's no protection, but I think they will be still in there. Sorry, Chris.
No, I was forgetting Man United was still in there, to be honest with you. Yeah, and
that's what I'm saying. That if Manchester United end up winning the Champions League and finish second or third, that's more of the chance that Champions League qualification in the Premier League will go down to a 5th spot. So there is a little bit of a buffer there if that were the case. But none of us want to be at the end of the season clinging onto a vain little bit of hope that Man United might win the Europa League.
Indeed we don't. Right, so this weekend's game, and just to give everybody a bit of a heads up, we're trying something different on Leicester Till I Die TV, is that we're going to be trying to do a watch along. So join us for that if you can. I know there's 2 or 3 out there, but we're just going to have a bit of fun. Josh is going to be doing it with me. We're not going to be doing commentary. We're not going to be John Motson and so that A's passing to B and B's passing to C. We're just going to be real fans. If we can watch it on the telly and have sound on with us, well, you might want to have the beeper ready, to be honest with you, depending how it's going. It's that time of the night. It always comes around when Craig picks his formation and his team. What I want guys to do that are watching, get your score predictions in, because we'll be looking at score predictions after this. Now, Craig, I know it's always awkward at the moment to do this because we have got a game beforehand, and that can throw things out. And the rumours are that there's going to be, we know Madders isn't going to be available for tomorrow night. Are you presuming that therefore he won't be available possibly for Sunday? Sorry.
From everything I've heard, I don't think he will be, to be honest. Brendan came out and said that Maddison was down with the club doctor seeing specialists in London yesterday, and they were down there again today getting a second opinion. Now, the thought process is that he doesn't need an operation, but they are talking about how they should handle it and how they should treat it, this sort of ongoing problem that he's got. So for me, that means that's 2 days that he's not been involved in training. I'd be surprised, to be honest, if he was risked. Maybe he'll make the bench, but I think if there's any little doubt, I don't think you would risk at this time of the season playing him against Arsenal. So I'm taking that into account.
We've seen Rodgers doesn't like to rush players back anyway, which is a good thing. No. Okay, so we're going to have probably a bit of controversy as we get further into the team, but the back four is pretty much a foregone conclusion. Well, the back five, if you like, if you want to include the defensive midfielder. Like you say, Luke Thomas almost came of, it was his coming of age game, if anything. I thought him and Harvey Barnes down that left-hand side absolutely clicked together. It was a joy to watch. Little passes between each other. It was, almost, as I say, telepathic, but it was a great pairing down that side.
Yeah, they seem to be working really well together. Although Barnes made the breakthrough first, they're of a similar age, I think. So they would have played a lot together coming through the system. And I think Thomas is growing in confidence. I mean, what we've got now is obviously, we're getting injuries. So Brendan's having to be clever about what he does, the number of games, the number of injuries that we've got. He's like a chef in the kitchen, and he's trying to prepare something, and half of his utensils are broken. So he's got to try and mend and make do. And that's what he's having to do with the team. He's got to get a blend right that actually works where people feel comfortable without moving too many people out of position. But for me, that back four now, I think there would have been a debate about Luke Thomas, whether he would go and put Pereira back and move Castagna across. But I think Villa game put all the worries about that aside. Again, we have got a game tomorrow night, so I expect that he'll probably play Thomas in that. So we don't know whether he wants to push him into 2 games in 3 or 4 days. But I think that back four is pretty solid there, and with Ndidi in front of it as a solid back line.
I don't think we can look at James Justin automatically coming back in if Thomas keeps his performance up.
That's true. I mean, it's unfortunate for him. I think if he'd have carried on this trajectory that he has this season, he would have been, having a shout of a place in the European Championship squad with England. He was sort of nailed on almost for Player of the Year as well. He was fantastic. So it's really unfortunate for him as an individual. Yes, it's bad for us as Leicester fans, but as an individual, it's really harsh for him, and I can't see us seeing him this season. If it's a similar injury to the one that Ricardo had, unfortunately.
Rob has asked a very good question, and I'm going to come on to this now. Why have you flipped Ricky and Castagna? And I think that's where they played against Villa, wasn't it? Almost possibly as a counter addition to Grealish down that side. But again, I thought they played well together.
Yeah. Can you just flip the team back up?
Yeah, it's coming back up here.
Yeah, so that's how he played it against Villa, didn't he? He had Castagna as a right back, and then Ricardo as the right midfielder. So
you had me doubting myself then. I thought I'd put them the wrong way round.
Well, that's it. I was just checking that. But I think, and again, I think Brendan came out and made some valid points about why he did that. Was that he feels that Castagna is a better runner without the ball. So his off-the-ball runs as overlaps are stronger than Ricardo, whereas Ricardo likes to get on the ball and he's more likely to dip inside. And that's the reason that he did it that way. Whereas if Castagna, you want your right-sided midfield player to be on the ball. So, if Castagna is a great runner off the ball, that's not really going to work. So I think that's why he did it. And, there was no reason to actually change that. So I've stuck with that.
I think... there's no Albrighton, which is surprising because he hadn't done anything wrong. He isn't injured. He may well start tomorrow night, though. But we're still still the big sort of mystery. I don't think you picked under once this season, to be honest with you.
I think I may have picked him once, but Brendan decided not to. For I don't know, he must have his own reasons. But
did you not know who you are?
I don't think so. To be honest, I think I'm losing track of who I am. I think the thing with Under is that he's not had enough game time to actually know that he can do a better job than the players who are being picked in front of him. It's a bit of a catch-22. You know, it would be lovely that he actually gets a game tomorrow night to show what he can do. And as we've seen, he's been more suited to European games. So, maybe he will get a chance tomorrow night. We saw that he didn't play Ricardo in the first leg. So I'm expecting that he probably won't play him in this one either. So I think Under may have a chance. Or, as you say, it may be Albrighton. But having said that, he's got to juggle his pack. He's got to juggle his utensils and make sure that he gets a decent recipe of a team that can.
I hope that's not
win us the game.
I hope that's not a euphemism for anything. They're juggling utensils on the side of the pitch. Rob, now I don't know whether I was perhaps watching a different game. Rob is saying Ricky played right back against Villa.
Not the game I saw.
Castagna played right back, did he not?
Yeah.
I think Rob.
Yeah.
I think
Castagna. Yeah.
Were you sort of stood on your head as you were watching the game? I mean, obviously they probably swapped as the game went on, because obviously you've got that Castagna goes forward, Ricky can drop into there, and obviously there was changes made during the game, and I, for the life of me, can't remember who came off, etc. I think definitely Castagna was the right back. This is going to be the interesting thing. Clear the decks. Get your fingers poised, everybody, on the keyboard. Keep it clean, please. Let's have a look. We've got Barnes on the left. We've got, like you say, Ricky on the right. And in the middle, who have you gone for here? Tillemans, obviously, yes, in there.
Tillemans.
Have I typed that right?
Yeah, so Tillemans, hear me out. For me, where Maddison has been playing in the last few games is much closer to Vardy. He's been playing almost Tillemans and indeed you've been sitting back, and we've been playing with one in front in that little number 10 pocket. So Maddison has been much further forward. For me, Iheanacho likes finding little pockets of space, and I think he can be that, and he can be that link to Vardy. The alternative to that is one that I don't like. Now, I can't see him bringing Under into that role. He doesn't seem to like playing him in his proper position on the wing, so I can't see him putting him in there. He damn well might do now just to show me up.
Just to spite you personally, Craig. Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, forget the league, just doing it to spite me. But the alternative for me is that you push Tillemans forward, so you then lose Tillemans from that deeper lying playmaker role, the quarterback almost as he's becoming, and you end up playing another defensive midfielder. So it's either Hamza or Mendy comes in, and then we're playing with two defensive midfielders and someone who's playing a little bit out of position. So for me, if you're going like for like, you want someone to fill that little number 10 role, dropping off the back line, playing in little pockets, getting the ball to feet. I think Iheanacho is our best bet at doing that out of the other options that we've got.
Very, very well put. Rob, did Daly... I'm going to come back to this again. Daly right back, Castagna left, Thomas left half. Rob, is that what you want? I don't think Daly didn't even play against Villa, so I'm presuming that's what you're thinking, Rob, rather than what it was. And Daly, I mean, I think I'm certain that he'll be on the bench. Just going back though to your team.
Yeah, I mean, he played him against Slavia Prague, didn't he? I think. Oh no, he played him against Brighton, didn't he? In the cup, it was Brighton that he played Daly.
Yeah. Stephen, no, Nacho is suspended for the Slavia Prague, but not for the Arsenal game. Now, I can see very, very much where you come in. Brendan was very much in the transfer window saying he wanted an attacking midfielder. Maybe now, and I was sort of like, why, what? But who else, like you say, could we put that we know of? Well, there might be a youth team player we don't know of, but who do we know of that could possibly do that? Like you say, there isn't anybody, and Nacho and Vardy have played up front together before, and he does like to hold the ball up, doesn't he, Nacho?
Yeah. I think he gets a hard time sometimes because he misses chances, but he is a confidence player. But I think if you're pushing Tielemans up there, I think we just lose a goal threat. And against Arsenal, I think we've got to be on the front foot and we've got to play attacking football. And I don't want us to lose our goal threat. And I think with Maddison being out, Tielemans isn't the same kind of player. To be making those runs up alongside Maddison, because as I say, he's becoming a quarterback. So I think maybe if he was fit, he may have put Perez in there, but he's not fit. So for me, it's the natural person to just put into that role, not as a playmaker, but to be there as a little attacking threat, dropping into pockets. All centre halves, particularly the Arsenal one. The Arsenal centre halves are old-fashioned centre halves, really. I know they've got the young Gabriel, the Brazilian, but they're quite physical centre halves who like marking people. If you've got someone who's dropping off into a pocket, that causes a problem for them. They don't know whether a deep lying midfielder should pick him up, whether the centre half should come out. So I think it could cause a nice little problem. And we know that Iheanacho can turn. I mean, the turn that he did for James Justin's goal against Fulham was exactly the type of area where Maddison would be when he got that ball on the turn and then played in Maddison himself. So I think he's more than capable of doing that.
Well, somebody agreed with you there anyway, but no, you like you say, I completely see why you did that, and it'll be interesting to see if he does, because like you say, we are struggling. So just to finally finish then, we're going to look at a score. Now, you'd be surprised at what I've gone for here, but don't forget, guys, on our website, leicestertillidie.com, it's down there at the bottom, just underneath Craig. Every week we get the X-Foxes, Steve Linux, who usually joins us on these shows, but he's at working tonight. Big Ian, Marshy, and Steve Walsh, and myself try and get the score right. We don't usually do very, very well. Craig comes in with his prediction on the preview night. He doesn't do very, very well either, to be honest with you. Neither of us would. No wonder we don't win the lottery, I'll tell you. But it's quite interesting here because Steve, Ian, and myself have all gone for 2-1. Steve has gone for a draw, but I think he's playing devil's advocate because he knows that he's only got one right all season. So he's going on that basis, I think. So 3 2-1s and a 1-1. I've gone back to my 2-1 because, like I said, I think we can concede. Craig used to like a 3-1, but what are you going to go for, Craig?
Well, I think if you're going back to your 2-1s, I have to go back to my 3-1 as the viewer there says, 3-1 to Leicester. I have to agree. So 3-1, excellent shout.
Yes, I thought you'd like that. Well, I'd be quite happy, to be honest with you, if you were right.
So would I.
3-1 would be absolutely amazing. And of course, we mustn't forget a quick shout out for West Brom. Thanks for the. Oh no, they didn't draw with United, did they? United beat them in the end. No, that was right. They were, I think, at one point.
Yeah. Nobody's doing us any favours. We're going to have to do it ourselves.
The thing I've noticed very, very quickly about this season is, though, we're not. When other teams are actually drawing rather than winning, we've not shot ourselves in the foot as much as we normally do.
No, we've not. We've had a couple of draws when we would have hoped to get it, but no, we've not. We've managed to grind out the results like we did against Villa. I was a little bit worried about the Villa game, even though Grealish wasn't playing, and we did a thoroughly professional job. And I think that's where it's showing that we have learnt. We're a professional top 5, top 6, top 14 now that we can actually see a game out.
Brilliant. Craig, thank you so much for, as always, for joining us. And I'm sure Brendan's been watching and he's made a little note of your team. And I would expect him. I would expect nothing less than him to do exactly what you've said.
Me too.
Craig, thanks so much, mate. Stay safe. I will see you next Wednesday. Take care. Thanks, you.
Chris. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks to Craig there. He knows his stuff. He knows a lot more than me. But then again, I've got to be honest with you, that's not hard. That's not hard at all. Come to the end of the show. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for joining in. Remember that this is going to be on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. Please give that subscribe button a link and help us get our numbers up. If you want to listen back to it while you're washing the car or doing anything else, while you listen to your podcasts, we are on Apple iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, and Google, and all under Leicester Till I Die. It's going to be a busy week coming up. I've got to be honest with you. We have got the match tomorrow. So at about 10 past 7, we'll be doing the pre-match with Josh. We've then got, obviously, the match to watch, hopefully enjoy. Oh, it's all down to the one game. We didn't concede away, but we didn't score either. So it's a 0-0. It's all down, and away goals count. No extra time. No penalties, 90 minutes. If it's 1-1, 2-2, we are out. We know what we've got to do. We've got to win. It's as simple as that. Nothing to worry about, really, eh? And then, of course, the post-match show with Josh at about 10:40. Friday, we will be here with the Opposition View show when I'll be chatting to a Gooner and having a bit of banter with him. And then at the weekend, Sunday, we will be looking at... again, the pre-match, we'll be doing a watch-along, like I say, for the Arsenal game. Join us for that. Be nice. Have a bit of a laugh, have a bit of a drink, and enjoy ourselves watching the match. Guys, take care of yourselves. First things first, we'll see you tomorrow, and we will see you at about 10 past 7. And let's hope that Arsenal fan is as mad as he was at the start of the show. Take care, guys. Stay safe. See you tomorrow. Good night now.
Leicester Till I Die podcasts on the Apple iTunes, Spotify, Google, Anchor, and all podcast platforms.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.